AI, it's getting everywhere, isn't it? Anyway, maybe people will find this an interesting video, maybe slightly humorous, slightly thought provoking. But this channel, obviously, I talk about cults. I shared about my cult experience when I was in the ICOC and ICC for about 20 years. I left 11 years ago. So, yeah, I got baptized 1995. But yeah, when I got recruited into a cult back in the day, there was a guy at a shopping centre, Prince's Mead Farnborough. As I was walking out the back door around where Asda is to sort of walk home, there he was. Excuse me, there, are you local to the area? Conversation started, and then I ended up in a cult. But it's that was how he recruited people, and that is how for I don't know hundreds of years of the sort of modern age of Protestant cultism. I guess that's the way it's been. This sort of hello, I'm a really friendly person. Come to my group and get brainwashed and give us all your money. we for only 10% of your life, we'll tell you how to live your life. Oh, I thought I could tell me how to live my life, But yes, it was 20 years of madness, 20 years of brainwashing from behind the pulpit, and all done for the glory of God. And even Jesus warns about this type of mindset. He says in many places, Matthew 7, Matthew 24 and other places, says, many will come in his name, and deceive you. Right? So first of all, they think they're Christian and they're not. Sometimes people read these passages and they point the finger at every other group. Oh yeah, that's them lot. Those Pentecostals, they're always after your money. Fake miracles and all of that. Speaking in bam bam, speaking in tongues or whatever. All of that stuff. But it's a lot more. There's a lot more to it, and I actually still read the Bible, and I do get insight from the Bible of how cults worked in the first century, and how since the first century it's the same dynamic. But the technology's changed. In the mid-90s, when I got recruited, it was face-to-face evangelism. Nobody really had a mobile phone. Nobody really had the internet much. So it was face-to-face. It was personal, and the way they used to brainwash you, oh, let's go and have a cup of coffee. Let's have a look at the Bible. So there'd be two of them, one of you, and they'd sort of push their ideology in a never such a friendly way into you, and then, oh, well, this is what God wants, you see, and all of that old school brainwashing. But it's not old school brainwashing anymore. I got recruited 31 years ago, and I drifted away from the ICOC, and then friends got involved with ICC, which was ICOC 2.0, basically, like Windows 98 as a replacement for Windows XP kind of thing. It was the upgraded version. And the upgraded version of the Kip McKean cult, they were more savvy with social media. And recently, one of their top guys left the cult. It was a few years ago now, 3 or 4 years ago now, because he was noticing that the top leader had a load of dodgy porn, and was like using images of staff members and I don't know, dressing them up in all kinds of pervy kind of outfits, and he was like, well, he can't stand for that. It doesn't matter how big the wage is. He was like the cyber evangelist type guy, and suddenly this terminology, cyber evangelism, what's all that about? Well, on Facebook, TikTok, whatever, all these social media platforms, you can present your group, whether it's a church or a cult, lots of smiley faces, or a scam. Oh, look at this rich man who's made a ton of money from this quantum AI forex crypto trading robot that will just burn your money up quicker than anything. But we live in a day and age where people can say whatever they want to say, present themselves as whatever they want to present, and even you can buy positive reviews. Do you want 100 positive reviews? Just give some bloke in the Far East 50 quid, $50, and you get 100 positive reviews that are written by people and seem authentic. And now you can even get AI to do positive reviews. So who do you trust? So it goes back to the sort of human contact with other humans. That is, I'm a human, you're a human, let's have a conversation. That's the old school way of selling, the old school, way of doing things. But the internet changed recruitment. A lot of people have been recruited into a cult through online. It's like, oh, I'm looking for a church. They're usually young and naive and they don't know what a cult is. And when they end up in a cult, it's like, oh, I don't know I'm in a cult. Yeah, that's what a cult is. You don't know you're in the cult. That's the whole point. If you're conned and you don't know you're conned, then yeah, what are you expecting? But I remember people used to say, when I was in, oh, you're like a robot. You all just sound the same. You sound like robots. And it was true. Cult recruitment and the teaching of cult recruitment, it does turn people into like robots. They all dress the same way. Some of them do. But it is cloning of people to push an ideology. But what is that ideology? I mean, put a pause on thinking about all the morality related to it. These cults just create groups of people that make the cult money and are recruiters. You have to see it for what it is. Oh, I can't see the forest for all the trees. Well, that's what a forest is. All these cult recruiters. Yes, that's what a cult is. They brainwash people and use them to recruit other people and make a lot of money doing it. And pretend it's about a god that they can't prove exists. And no cult can prove their god exists. It's so bizarre when you actually jack out of that matrix and see it for what it is. Oh, we all love one another. Oh, we're really nice to each other. But in practical terms, certainly with the Kit McCain cults, it's all recruitment and it's all money and a little bit of entertainment to keep the members satisfied. And if you're a really good member and you recruit people, they might allow you to get a girlfriend and get married. What if you're an introvert or a geek? You're never going to get married. Well, we don't want those type of people. So it's almost like Hitler with his Aryan race. Well, we don't want black people, and we certainly don't want Jews, and it's going backwards to that mindset now. You see people being racist, and you think, well, are you stupid? Racism is stupidity because it's about people what they do, not what they look like, But yeah, I mean, the short version of this video is how recruitment has changed. I was recruited face to face, and in 2011, when I ended up back in the ICC cult, it was a friend of mine. Oh, you'll love it. It's really good. And it was a friend who kept on badgering me. Oh, come along. God will use you. All the flattery, let's hang out, let's pray, let's do the cult agenda, let's recruit, let's fast. All of that stuff, right? But now, he's a bit older than me, the guy who got me into the cult in 2011, old school guy. I mean, God, he must be 71 years old now. Yeah, he must be about that. Yeah, gosh, he's getting on a bit. How the years have flown by. I think he's 70, I'm sure he's 61. No, 71 years old. God, yeah. Anyway, that's the guy who got me into the cult. Friendly. Cult 2.0. But AI and robots, you know, is that the future? Are we going to be walking down the high street and rather than see the Jehovah's Witnesses with their little trolley of magazines, you know, just sat there huddling, talking to each other, or the Mormons with their little elder badges, you know, that they look like they're running a business. And they are. They are running a $300 billion business, you know. But what is going on in this world? Are these people going to be replaced by robots? Are we going to have humanoid-looking robots on the street saying, "Hello there, would you like to come to a Bible study and a thought reform program?" You know, if you don't know what a thought reform program is, just watch videos by Margaret Singer, cult expert. But is that the future for cults? You know, are we actually going to get to a stage where robots are recruiting robots and brainwashing them? Because the people who run these cults, all they give a damn about is money. Yes, they have to come on the stage and pretend it's about people. But when you look how much money they've got and the fact that the recruiters don't get paid, but it's like you are working for a cult, but you're not getting paid like a normal job. They expect you to pay them to tell you what to do and pretend it's about God and it's all about money. And you're too blind to see because it's so social and it's so friendly and it's so nice. Anyway, 12 minutes. I've got to crack on with this video. So I remember people saying, "Oh, you're a robot, you're brainwashed," you know. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. These days, you might actually be talking to a robot. I mean, humans have always used other humans and exploited other humans for thousands of years. From the pharaohs, even before the time of the pharaohs, the Romans, Nebuchadnezzar, all of that stuff, yeah. Humans have always exploited humans. And they will use psychological brainwashing, and do you not think they will not use robots as well? Of course they will. Imagine that, you're walking down the high street, you think, "Oh, I'm just going to go and get a magazine," right? And boom, there's a robot. "Excuse me there, trying to get in your way." Trying to get in your way. Like, hang on a minute, stop, sir. You know, mate, a robot. And it's like, "Oh, yeah, sir. No, just F off." You know, it's like they're annoying. You know what they're about, you know, but the people who tend to fall for cults, lonely, in a new city, looking for a girlfriend or a relationship, looking for a purpose or meaning, and they find themselves in a cult. And they love it. But they're brainwashed and they're being used. And they don't see that. And they don't want to see it. And they're programmed not even to think about, hang on a minute, what's actually going on? Why is my leader so rich and I'm so poor? Or, you know, that's for some of the more dysfunctional cults, like the Kit McKen cults. You know, you get members going broke and rich leaders. Trust me, a lot of the cults are the same. Some cults look after their members better than others. Some of them provide free healthcare. You know, here, join the cult. Free healthcare, free wife, have as much sex and kids as you like. Own a whole galaxy, why don't you? Or if it's Scientology, we'll get the demons out of you. They're called thetans. You've been possessed by thetans. You know, it really is, well, I've just put crazy sadomasochistic dynamic. You know, it really is. Because a lot of these cults, a lot of the preachers are very abusive from behind the pulpit. I did a link to, I think it was last Sunday's, no, it was an ICC one where the preacher was having a go at the congregation for the sake of money. Anyway, will I do a part two? No, one part is enough.